Recording. Okay. So today is October 29th, Thursday, 2020. And today we are going to be talking about wire knots and pigtails. Let me set up the transitions the way I like. All right, I like this transition better. All right. Now we're going to play some videos as well, and the videos are from YouTube. I am when I post this lecture, this recorded lecture, those videos will be missing from the from the recorded lecture. However, they will appear on your posted notes. So we're going to play these videos here. We're going to play 3 out of these 1, 2, 3, 6. The other ones are also these are suggested YouTube links that we're going to be watching when it comes to dealing with the wire nuts, or should I say wire connectors and pigtails. Okay, what kind of pigtails are we talking about? These are not the pigtails that you do with your hair. And they are not the tails of the animal that is popularly called as a pig. We're going to talk about the electrical pigtails. Sometimes we need to extend a cable for whatever reason, and sometimes we need to join more than one cable by the means of using something that's called a wire connector or wire nut. And sometimes they are called Moretz. Okay, now let's just quickly jump into our to be posted lectures. Okay, let's see what we can. I'm going to jump back and forth on this here. This is a cross section of something that's called a wire connector. You could see that there are 3 cables, 3 conductors that are being joined by the means of using this wire connector. Sometimes it's called wire nut, sometimes it's called a moret, depending on who makes it. Okay. Excuse me. The structure of this wire connector is that it does have a housing here. I'm not sure if you could see the little mouse, my mouse moving. And inside that, the housing is made out of dielectric, which is basically another way of calling an insulator. And inside there is a thread that is going to grab the endings of the stripped wires. They could be solid, they could be stranded. However, I think that it's my personal opinion that they work a little bit better with the solid core wires than the stranded. However, they also can be used as unstranded wires when it comes to joining them. Now, we're also going to cover the idea of the basic questions, like kind of a Shakespearean type of a form, to pre-twist or not to pre-twist. Okay, we're going to tackle this idea, and I'm going to tell you something about it as far as pre-twist or not to pre-twist. It is possible to, in some wire nuts, it is possible to insert the wires that are not twisted together, and they should grab it and they should work fine. However, in some cases, and I would say in most cases, I always choose to pre-twist, and I will tell you why. Okay, now the wire nuts that we're going to be using in our lab, and please don't miss tomorrow's lecture, because I'm going to give you a rundown on the next lab. We're going to basically, I'm going to perform the lab for you, and then you're going to have to just repeat with your lab instructors. Now, these wire nuts that we're going to use, or wire connectors, are by Ideal. They don't have to be Ideal, by the Ideal brand. However, these are the ones that we have in our school shop, so that's what we're going to use. And you're going to use exactly these ones here. Now, just a little bit of a magnification on the sticker on the, we're going to analyze some information that is on the box. So this is the magnification of the sticker here. Now over here, right here, this one says one size fits all, and there's an asterisk beside that, and the little text underneath that is just the same thing, but in French. I would not pay attention to that one size fits all because I'm not sure even why this sign was posted on the sticker. I wouldn't trust everything that you read, okay, especially in the news. But okay, so there's a question here. Are these going to be given to us, or do we have to bring our own? No, you will be provided with the wires, conductors, and you will be provided with the wire connectors. Okay? All you have to do is bring yourself with your PPE and the tools. And the tools are going to be listed tomorrow when I give you the rundown on the lab. Okay. Now, these are different shapes and sizes of the wire connectors. This picture right here is just a view from the side, and over here is that if you look inside into the connector, you're going to see that there's a thread that is supposed to grab the wires, and it is a clockwise thread. So when we pre-twist the wires, we should pre-twist them in the same direction that the thread is, and it's just a regular clockwise thread. These are four different sizes. Depending on the size of the wires and how many wires you're going to use, you are going to apply certain type of connectors that actually fit the job that you are going to do. Now here is you see, if you look at that right here, I just took a picture of this side of this, actually the other side of the sticker, and I magnified it a little bit. You're going to see some information, because no, it is not true that one size fits all. You're going to have to choose the appropriate size of the. So okay, so on the front of the sticker, there's a sign that says one size fits all, and then there is also this list on the other side of the same sticker that are specifying, with the information that specifies which size of wire nut or wire connector you can use for which purpose. And sometimes you're going to see different size. I'm gathering my thoughts today. Sometimes you're going to see a sticker that shows different type of connector that is made by the same brand, and they're going to specify the colors of that. And based on that, you can choose the size of the wire connector to fit the job that you're doing. So let's just analyze this one here for a little bit. It says listed as a pressure type wire connector. What would be the other connector? Well, there are different connectors. There are some called edge connectors used in communications, or sometimes there are insulation displacement connectors also used in communications. But in electrical, also we're using something that's called a screw terminal, which was applied in this case here, that this is the last lab that before the next one that we're doing. This is the screw type of connector. But this is a pressure type of connector, okay, used for solid and or stranded wire. Okay? Combinations that are suggested for this type that is in the box. All right, so there's only specifying the sizes and the combinations of wires that are going to be used with this type of connector, the one that is in the box. Okay, they're not specifying anything else that they produce. in this case. All right, so combinations. So in this wired connector, you can use minimum of 3 22 gauge wires. So 22 gauge wire is quite thin, all right? Or you can use that wire connector with maximum of 3 10 gauge wires, right? And most applications in between, including, and they're giving you possibilities that that you could use. We can use 1 to 3 of 12 gauge connectors. So you can. Why would you want to use just the connector on one only? Well, sometimes you just want to blind the connector. Do I have the blind the wire? And I have a box here of this of some wire nuts. So in order for this wire to not touch any other wires, or to eliminate the possibility of of this wire shorting or making a creating a short circuit with everything else, you can just blind that. Okay, so you can. That's for blinding. That's why you would use only one connector on that. Okay, so. No, it's not a mistake over here. So let me just take those, put that box away. So in this type of a connector, the blue one that is specified in this box, you can put one minimum one. Oh, there's a question here. Do we need to bring our own EMT bender? No, you don't. No, you don't. We have EMT benders, but we're not talking about conduit bendings today. But no, good question. You do not need to bring your EMT connect. You don't need to bring your EMT pipe benders. Okay. So also, what do we see here is the list goes down. You can use this thing 1 to 5. You can put 5 gauge 14. So the gauge 14 is the wire that we used to connect the screw terminals that we used on the excuse me, hold on. Okay. We got some people walking around here, so I apologize for that. All right, so okay, there we go. So we can, this one here also goes, we go down the list. We can put 14 gauge connectors with 2 of 16 gauge connectors. You can put 3 12 gauge with 3 18 gauge. So there are some possibilities and combinations of different type of gauges and different number of wires that you can insert that you can use this connector on. Now, I'm going to bring your attention to some things here, and we're going to play the video. So the first video that we're going to play is, it's called The Truth About Electrical Fires. There's 4 minutes, it's a 4-minute video, and I might interrupt this video and do some explanations, so you might want to make some notes. When this lecture is posted on YouTube, this video will be missing from the sequence. However, you can download the PDF version of the posted notes, and you'll be able to click on that and see the video in full. Okay, so here's the first video, and this talks about, well, it's a connector, and it needs to be done properly. And what is the worst thing that can happen? Well, worst thing, one of the very bad things that can happen if you don't make a proper electrical connection is you can start a fire. So here's the video. This is what happens when you don't make the proper connection. It's going to be your responsibility as an electrician to make proper connections as opposed to the improper connections or the wrong or bad connections. Okay, there's another YouTube video that I'm going to play for you, and this thing is about creating pigtails and the reasoning behind that. And guess what? During the lab, I'm going to show you how to properly create pigtails that are not going to cause the fire. And keep in mind that we're going to talk about the question of to pre-twist or not to pre-twist. Guess what kind of connection was made in that simulated wrong connection. That thing was not pre-twisted, for sure. Okay, so here is another YouTube video that I'm going to play for you about making pigtails, okay? Because pigtails are going to be part of your job. Okay, so now we noticed that this gentleman has made connections that were pre-twisted, right? What would happen if they were not pre-twisted? Well, those wires would be stuck together, bound by the wire connector. But what if something happens? What if for some reason the connector becomes undone or loosened up a little bit? That pre-twisting gives you a extra type of extra binding that is going to prevent the wires from separating and creating that heat spot. Okay, now let me look at some of the chat lines here. Something I'm going to go up. Just stop, guys, for a sec here. My aunt wants to ask about device you would plug a lamp into to see if it draws current while it's turned off. If that makes sense. I have no idea what she means. If the device draws current, I'm not going to give advice for homeowners to do electrical jobs on their own. So I would just say call somebody who knows, who is authorized to do this type of stuff to see if the device is drawing current. Yeah. I think she wants to know if a lamp still draws power when it's off. Basically, apparently there's a device that tell you. There are some devices for homeowners. If you can buy it in the store and it's explained to you that you can use it as a homeowner, then by all means. But please do not try to alter anything that's electrical in your own house. Pinched his finger at one spot. Safety first. Yeah, sometimes when people make videos, things happen. Just measure 6 inches from any point at your hand and pick something that doesn't. And pick something closest to it, and you can remember. Yeah. When you're studying code, Mr. Crouch or Mr. Hamilton are going to give you the exact details when it comes. There's a bit of a page that's written about there should be minimum 6 inches of wire sticking out, and it's going to tell you in the code from where to measure. Okay, so there should be 6 to 8 inches. But you're going to take this thing up when you study the code. All right. All right. I'm going to show you another video. Yeah, let me just cue this up. How to choose the wire nuts. Okay, so how to choose the wire nuts. Let's just take a quick short. This is a 2.5 minute video, and we're going to take a look at that. And we're going to have a short kind of a descriptive discussion about that. Okay, cue it up, and here it comes. Get your popcorn. Okay, so this was talking about which sizes the sizes of the wire nuts, and this gentleman showed us how to make a proper connection. There's another video here that is 3 minutes long again, And this gentleman, is talking about making proper connections, as well as something that's called a backstabbing. Now, backstabbing is, what's a backstabbing? He's talking behind somebody's back and gossiping? No, this is a different type of backstabbing that he's talking about. Here is, you need a Bluetooth headset, yeah. All right, so we use the screw terminals to connect the wire. I just use the red jacketed wire because it just shows up better on the video. But also you're going to see little openings on the other side of the receptacle. Let me just switch the camera views here. That's the one right here. You see, usually we use this screw terminals to connect the wire. We'll make a candy cane hook and do a proper connection. Sometimes you're going to see those openings that you can just, instead of connecting it to the screw terminal, you can backstab the receptacle and you just push it in, okay? And this thing is not going to come out. It is made that the opinions are divided as far as doing this type of a connection. Some of the outlets or some of the receptacles are going to have a little insert that you can stick a screwdriver and open that connector. In this case here, once you put that in, you should not be taking it out. Well, there are different thoughts on that. I'll tell you what my thought is. I'm not using these. Okay, I never use that, simply because I don't know what's inside. I don't see the connection. I cannot inspect the connection. I don't know how long this wire is. I don't know how far it goes there. And I don't see how it is actually properly connected or not. And is it that somebody tried to do this, tried to put this in and maybe ripped it out? I can't even rip it out, but sometimes is it damaged or not? I'm not using those. And I can just tell you right on the video, and it stays on the record, I personally do not use that. Is it going to be if electrical inspector inspects your job and sees that, he might or she might approve that. However, I'm going to tell you that because for the reasons, because I can't see what's inside, I cannot see how it is connected. I'm staying away from those. And the reason is I don't want to start a fire. All right. So let's see what this gentleman has to say. Sounds like lazy people. Okay. Well, yeah. I'll leave it at that. Okay, let me just cue this here, and let's see what this gentleman has to say. He's using the terminology that says Moretz. Moretz. Moretz is a brand that started some time ago. Moretz was the company that was mostly making those connectors, and because of that, those connectors are popularly also called the Moretz. This is the same kind of analogy as some time ago the photocopiers used to be made mostly by a company that's called Xerox. So the Xerox was, can you Xerox those papers or something like that. So when he talks about the Moretz, he's talking about the wire connectors or wire nuts. Okay. Enough with the commercials. All right, so today what we have to, I'm going to stop that video because it's just annoying. All right, so today we have talked about the pigtails as the means of connecting and extending cables and making connections with the wires. The wire connectors are a very popular item that you're going to use. And what I want you to get a good start on is to be able to use this properly. And if you stay on course with us here and actually do what we show you, you're going to have an easier time carrying on with the next courses. All right, so now stay tuned for tomorrow. We can still hear. Oh, you can? I've got a traditional connecting block. I've got the push-in type. Oh, it's probably bleeding through. Sorry about that. All right. So tomorrow I'm going to show you the exactly the activity. You know what? I can't think today. I'm sorry, my brain doesn't work, so I'm having trouble with forming sentences in English. All right. So tomorrow I'm going to show you how to make pigtail out of two, excuse me, 2 wires, 3 wires, and 4 wires, and I'm going to show you how to make them properly, and that's what you're going to be doing during the next lab. Okay, so this concludes today's lesson on that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let me just take a quick look at the chat lines here. Yeah, Thursdays are rough. Yeah. Okay. If we're not supposed to use those holes, why are they there? Yeah, that's a really good question, and I don't think I'll be able to answer that. Somebody came up with the idea and somebody approved it, but as you can tell, the electrical, I don't want to use the word society, but the electricians, sometimes they are divided with their opinions on whether to use those openings or not for backstabbing. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody that I ask that is in the business, they try to avoid them for the reasons I specified. You just can't see the connection. So there it is. Why are they there? Somebody made them. All right. Okay. Go down the chat line here. Best option is to pick the safest. Yes, it is. Yes. Best way is to if you can see it, then you have more control over that. All right. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow and have a great rest of your Thursday. And I'm going to work on my speech pathology. Here's a Zoom wave. How do I end this thing? Oh, here it is.